In this video, I want to show you a simple trading system to day trade crude oil, Nasdaq, bonds for 2022. It is a more simple strategy than my original Cobra strategies, and here is basically the way it works. You have the rule number one for the entry is the start time must be greater than a certain parameter, which in this case is 3 o'clock a.m. And I had the crude oil in mind for this because I have a Cobra crude strategy, and we're not getting in soon enough because some of these moves happen during the European hours, and 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is basically the time that Europe starts its business day, 3 a.m. New York time, and then the finish time is less than, so we're taking entries between this time frame. 1400 crude oil day session ends at 1430. And so we take entries between Europe business open and 30 minutes before the crude oil day session ends, and we end up exiting it at 1645. This market closes at 1700, 5 o'clock Eastern, and we exit at 445. So exit here. We don't have less than one entry per day. From midnight to midnight, less than one max daily entries. And so you limit your risk because you're not trading a lot. So you're limited to your stop loss for the day for that one trade. So if there hasn't been a trade yet, you can take one. If there's been a trade, you can't take any more for the day. So these are the time-based rules, and these are, you can see there's not a window that's been optimized. You're basically wanting to capture from Europe business session to crude oil pit nearly closed within 30 minutes, and then exit at the end of the session. So just a long window based on that market and when it's active, most active, and then it could become more active earlier as well during Asia time period. But right now we're focused on Europe and US. And then max daily entries less than one. And so that's the second rule. And then we have a proprietary rule. That's what makes this a proprietary trading. Very simple, non-parameter based proprietary rule. So one proprietary rule, very simple rule. And then 4, once those conditions are met, we enter longs or shorts, depending. This can take long and short trades. So it's not long only, it's short and long. Enter long and shorts. Longs, buy at the close on a limit minus 0.01 for crude oil on a limit. On the shorts, you do close plus 0.01, which is basically one tick in crude oil on a limit order. Now I have other parameters in this. I have a monthly stop loss, but that is set to false. By default, it's set to false. You could use that if you wanted. So, and then the max daily entries is based on midnight to midnight, not session to session. And then let's see here, stop loss. Crude oil, this uses let me double check. Is a $700 stop loss, no profit target, just like our current crude oil, $700 stop loss. And so really basic generic parameters, very, very simple strategy, takes long and short trades. Let's look at some of the results here. This is a new strategy though, so we are calling it 2022, and you can take a look at this and track it and watch it as it goes into 2022. It works well in crude oil since January of 2020. Prior to this, it doesn't work as well. So it's a very simple system, a stripped down version, and it's very stealth in its entry. Nasdaq, since April, it works well before this, but it works really well since April of 2020. And this adds a profit target of $500. $700 stop loss, $500 profit target, takes long and short trades. See, it's currently in a drawdown, and then bonds. So it's hard to find a strategy for bonds. This holds. Now these strategies, I kept the same parameters of 1645 in them, and since they're based on Central Standard Time, they're not exiting at the end of the day. You could adjust that. It's less profitable when you exit at the end of the day, so you have to hold these positions overnight potentially. And you see, the bond strategy is currently in a little bit of a drawdown, but could be a good entry point. There was a big drawdown during the pandemic back in March of 2020, but this back test is 2016. Really nice straight line equity curve, but these are some big drawdowns. Big drawdowns. It's swing trading futures contracts. You can have drawdowns like this. You could trade the micros. Let's see here. Nasdaq, 4,200 max drawdown, $700 stop loss. I think all of these, it doesn't have an exit, but because the stop loss is 700 and the profit target is 500, it always gets out. It always gets out before the end of the session. So you don't really see the Nasdaq trading in such a narrow range that you don't either hit the stop loss or profit target. So, and here is crude oil, 64.60 closed trade drawdown, and 129 average trade profit. This is with slippage and commission on crude oil. And I'm working on adding this to the portfolio calculator. So that is a simple strategy, very simple approach to trading crude oil, Nasdaq, bonds. It's a brand new strategy. I'm going to be tracking it before I trade it, and you could potentially trade it. It is a strategy that is hot right now in the current market environment, and if you believe the market has changed since the pandemic, and I believe that it could be in a place where it's changing, especially at higher index levels, higher volatility levels. And so we could be looking at a regime change in these markets, and this Cobra strategy for 2022 could be a great strategy to trade going forward.